Imagine a structure so massive that it swallowed entire city blocks. A fortress of concrete so thick that even the most powerful World War II bombs barely scratched it. A megaproject that consumed billions of dollars, millions of tons of materials, and the lives of thousands of forced laborers. And yet, despite all this, it never produced a single submarine. This is the story of Bunker Valentine, Nazi Germany's colossal U-boat factory that promised to change the war, but became one of the most expensive failures in military engineering history. Today, we dive deep into its origins, its brutal construction, the engineering secrets hidden within its walls, and the reason this megaproject collapsed before it ever went online. Welcome to the $2 billion Nazi megaproject that never worked. By late 1942, the Third Reich was suffocating. Hitler's U-boat fleet, once the terror of the Atlantic, was being hunted down with new Allied radar, code-breaking, and air patrols. Germany needed a miracle, and they believed they had one. The Type 21 Electro Boot. It was decades ahead of anything the Allies had. Faster underwater, quieter, deadlier. A submarine that could have changed the entire naval war. But there was a problem. To mass-produce the Type 21, Germany needed a secure, bomb-proof environment, one where Allied bombers couldn't touch them. So the Nazis planned something unprecedented, a colossal submarine assembly line protected by walls of concrete up to 7 meters thick. Out of this vision emerged Project Valentine, the largest fortified naval factory ever attempted in Europe. Its location, the riverbank of Bremenfarge, northern Germany. Its purpose, to roll out one brand new U-boat every 56 hours. Its cost in today's money, over $2 billion. The Nazis wanted speed. What they built instead was a machine of suffering. More than 12,000 forced laborers were dragged from concentration camps across Europe, Sachsenhausen, Neuengamme, and dozens of satellite camps. These men worked 12 to 16-hour shifts in freezing winter and burning summer under constant beatings and starvation. Every day, trains arrived with workers. Every day, trucks left with corpses. Survivors recalled, "People collapsed from exhaustion. If you couldn't stand, you were beaten. If you still couldn't stand, you disappeared." At its peak, the construction consumed 500,000 cubic meters of concrete, 16,000 tons of steel, massive cranes brought from all over occupied Europe. The bunker grew into a monstrous shape, 419 meters long, 97 meters wide, up to 33 meters high, a structure so huge it could be seen from aircraft 20 kilometers away. But ironically, those aircraft couldn't destroy it. Let's step inside the engineering brain of Bunker Valentine. This wasn't just a building. It was a modular submarine factory designed like a car assembly line. The process. Individual submarine sections, called modules, arrived by barge. Daunting cranes lifted them inside the bunker. Workers assembled the modules into full Type 21 submarines. The completed U-boats were pushed directly into the Weser River. Key engineering features: 7-meter thick roof built to withstand even tall-boy earthquake bombs. Hydraulic systems for moving 500-ton submarine modules. Dual ventilation corridors to handle fumes from welding and machinery. Embedded rail systems running the length of the bunker. A secondary shell of concrete to absorb shock waves. It was Germany's boldest attempt at underground industrialization. But engineering brilliance alone couldn't save this project, because a storm was coming. On March 27, 1945, the Royal Air Force launched Operation Grog, a direct attack on Bunker Valentine. Allied bombers dropped tallboys, massive 12,000-pound bombs designed to crack underground facilities. Most bombs cratered the ground around the bunker. A few hit the roof, but they barely penetrated. The bunker held. From the outside, it looked nearly invincible, but ironically, by the time the smoke cleared, the war was already lost. The electrical systems inside were destroyed. The cranes were damaged. Material supply lines were gone, and the Third Reich had collapsed into chaos. The Nazis now had the world's most fortified factory, but no workers, no resources, and no future. On April 10, 1945, all work stopped. Bunker Valentine never completed a single submarine. Germany spent the equivalent of billions building a factory that produced nothing. But the true cost wasn't in money. It was in lives. Historians estimate 2,000 to 6,000 forced laborers died building the bunker, from starvation, disease, exhaustion, beatings, accidents, and executions. For decades after the war, the bunker stood abandoned, a silent tomb of concrete and suffering. Today, it serves as a memorial and museum, not to celebrate Nazi engineering, but to remember the people who were sacrificed to build it. The Type 21 electroboot was real. It was fast. It was revolutionary. Some historians argue that if Germany had produced it earlier or at scale, the Battle of the Atlantic might have shifted dramatically. But Bunker Valentine shows the truth. Technology doesn't win wars. Reality does. Germany didn't have the time, the resources, or the stability to finish the project. This bunker is proof of what happens when ambition exceeds reality, and when human lives are treated as expendable in the pursuit of military power. Bunker Valentine stands today as one of the largest military construction failures in history, a brutal reminder of the limits of wartime engineering, the catastrophic industrial ambitions of the Third Reich, the thousands of innocent people who paid the ultimate price. It was a megaproject built to reshape the war, but ultimately it never produced a single submarine. If you want more AI reconstructed World War II history, forgotten engineering, abandoned megaprojects, and the stories behind them, make sure to subscribe for Part 2, because there are many more ruins left to explore.